It's party time, my golf story, brought to you by Party Drinks. Classically designed golf drinks for golfers by golfers. And the golf real estate pros Gene Walsh and Vince Visicaro. For your Southwest Florida real estate needs, check them out at suncoastdreams.com. Now here's your host, Kevin Walsh.
Hey, welcome to the program. Great to have you. This is episode number 3, so we must be doing something right. And we're going to break some news today. We are fully out in all the usual platforms. So however you consume podcasts on different things, be it Spotify, be it Apple or whatever, your choice. The good news is we're available to you. Do me a favor, all right? You probably hear when you're on YouTube and you're doing some home improvement project and you see some guy in this garage and he says, like and subscribe, okay? See that down on your screen in the direction I'm pointing? Please like and subscribe. They don't tell you why you should do that, but full disclosure, I will, because eventually we might get paid for this, all right? What a concept. We might get paid for this. Our guest today is Andrew McCabe. Now, you've heard me talk about him before in the context that he is the founder of Party Drinks. And I think I described him as the ultimate food, wine, and spirit snob without being douchey about it. I'm going to add a little bit to that and say he might be the most interesting man in the world. I mean it. I mean it. I mean, this is a man that has done a little bit of everything, has lived around the world, is very international, but is salt of the earth. The kind of guy that you want to have a beverage with, all right? So that's kind of the preview of who's about to come on. But first, a big thank you to one of our key sponsors, and that is the real estate team, the golf pros. Not golf professionals, but the professionals when it comes to getting you real estate deals on golf courses. If your dream is to buy a home on a golf course in the Suncoast area, the greater Sarasota area, or if you happen to live on a golf course and you want to sell your home, you need to contact the real estate team of Vince Visicaro and Gene Walsh from Suncoast Properties. Okay? Fine Properties. Suncoastdreams.com, or give them a call at 941-220-4000. Nobody knows the golf and real estate area like Gene and Vince do, and let them know that I sent them your way. Okay, let's bring the big star into the stage.
All
there
right.
he is.
Here we go.
Andrew
It's
McCabe.
party time.
What's in your hand?
What do you think? It's a transfusion, a party transfusion.
Okay.
My favorite drink of choice.
And it's the number one seller of Party.
Oh, without
But
a doubt.
you're a little late to the game. Why don't you tell your transfusion story, how it started, and then I'll tell mine.
All right. So it was about 15 years ago. I was on a guys' golf trip to Tampa. And you know how guys' golf trips go. It's booze, steak houses, and maybe a little bit of other extracurricular activities. And we go to Old Memorial Golf Club.
Let me stop you right now. Okay, it's
Yeah.
Tampa. Did you go to the
Okay.
place that's named after a planet?
Quite possibly. Quite
Okay.
possibly.
I'm sorry, continue.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. All right. So we had this buddy who was a member at Old Memorial Golf Club in Tampa, which is pretty fantastic. It's a wonderful club. I mean, it's kind of interesting getting there, but once you get there, it's like an oasis. And we had a great round. We had fun, and the caddies were awesome. And then we get to the locker room, and this locker room is second to none. It is awesome. And I asked the bartender, "What's your signature drink?" And he says, "It's a transfusion." And I'd never had one before. It was grape juice, ginger ale, and lime juice, basically. And oh my God, I was hooked. And then we didn't have any in Massachusetts, so I went
And
vodka, of course, and of course, and vodka. And I brought it back to my club in Massachusetts. I said, "You guys got to start pouring this." So I brought it back, and then this was 15 years ago, and we started. That was our introduction to it. But I knew deep down I wanted to be the guy making the best transfusion in the world. So that's where we're at now.
Okay. The start of Party, It happened by accident, didn't it? Walk me through it.
Yeah, well, so originally we started our distillery, Astra Luna, in 2013. And, we've been doing okay, but we weren't like burning bridges. We're doing okay. And then all of a sudden, these seltzers start coming along in like 2017. And I'm like, what's going on with this stuff, right? I try them. It's like I see them on the golf course and they're like, "Ugh, they're not that good."
Hmm.
And then I'm like, all right, we can do better than this. So I kind of made a plan that I'm going to make a golf centric drink that tastes good. And it also, exudes fun. And it just, that's what it's all about, is having fun on the golf course, but also having fun in life. That's what it's all about.
So let me back up a couple steps because you opened the door. Astra Luna is the parent company of Party. Tell me something. How does a guy that grew up in a construction family in suburban Boston end up founding a distillery?
Okay. Well, that's a long, long story, probably for a whole nother podcast. But I got into my family had a construction company for a long, long time. And I was basically the only one left in the family to get in the business. I hadn't necessarily planned to get into it, but when your father has a quadruple bypass, sometimes you got to do the right thing.
Yeah.
So I kind of took over the business, and I also discovered that it's a great means to make a living. I employed 125 people, and we had a very great business. But I learned a lot about you know people, and it just we actually became a big family in a way. And I found that construction was, and I also did real estate. So it's just like it afforded me the opportunity to do other things in life as well. So, but as I said, like the distilling business, it's tough, and you have every day is you're taking a risk.
Hmm. So you sold the business and then you got into distilling, but what was the jumping in point? Now you got to tell me. Tell me it wasn't you were watching some redneck hillbilly show about moonshining on A&E or some other bad cable channel, or did that have something to do with it?
It definitely didn't. This has been in my blood since I've been like 12 years old. In high school, I would take apple cider. You'd buy it from the market, and I learned how to ferment it and make hard cider, and I would sell it to all my friends in high school. So, and then and then the next thing in college, in my freshman dorm room, we were making beer in a dorm room. And then from that point, when I at my house, my kids and I would we made wine in our grotto. We made this little grotto in our basement, and we would make wine, and my kids would help me put the caps in, and do everything. So it was like I've been doing it, and eventually I just said I got to do it the right way. So do it the legal way, I guess.
Who was one of your inspirations? It was a guy that you were working construction with, or he worked for you, and you were the guy from the islands.
Yeah, so one of my guys, Manny Avila, he was one of our foremen, and he was from the Azores, and from San Miguel, actually. And so
That's
he
off the coast of West
Portugal.
Africa. Portugal.
Yeah, in
Okay.
Portugal.
Yeah.
It's part of Portugal.
Okay.
So what he basically he taught me how to distill. We made wine, and we did this in the garage of our construction company. I mean, it was kind of dirty and all that, but it was okay. So we had a copper pot, and we welded it shut, and we put some check valves, and we made them condensing pipes, and all out of copper. And then over an open flame, we used some propane, and we actually made it work. I mean, it wasn't the best stuff in the world, but it was inspirational. So
Yeah.
that was like one of my entrees, and the other entree was I read a great book that everybody should read. It's called Chasing the Wild Asparagus by Yule Gibbons. I don't know if you remember him. He's the guy who used to try to sell granola back in the 70s. And he had this thing where you could make a still on your top of your stove. And I was like, I got to try this. And I tried it. And guess what? It worked really well.
Hmm.
So it's always been in my blood. And now I'm like trying to make a living at it. So
Where'd you grow? Where'd
that's
you
the
grow
hard
up?
part, actually.
No,
I
but
grew up
it's
in.
interesting.
Mm, so I grew up in Wellesley, Massachusetts. Some people call it Swellesley. I don't know why, but it's a very nice town. And I grew up in the 70s, and during the 70s, our parents were great. They basically didn't pay attention to us. We could do whatever we wanted. We, as the whole thing is like go home, go out and play all day and then come home when the street lights turn off. That was actually a real thing.
We had a
But
similar thing in my town in suburban Philadelphia. It was the 5 o'clock whistle. It was from the firehouse on the other side of town, which was probably 5 miles away, but you could hear it. And so there was
yeah,
no denying that you didn't hear it. You had to be home on time. Continue, please.
my neighbor had a triangle. Remember the triangles you had in school?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So she would bang the triangle, and it was dinner time. So it's like if she was banging the triangle, we probably knew it was time for dinner for us too. But I grew up like my parents. I was like kind of an only child in a way because
Mm-hmm.
I'm like 10 years younger than my two older siblings, so I was kind of independent. And as long as I didn't screw up or get in trouble, my parents would pretty much let me do anything. So I think
We
that's
had
what
a
gave me my independent spirit.
we had a longer leash back then. Yeah, you're right. We rode our bikes everywhere. Our parents didn't know where we were most of the time. They might have had a general idea of who we might be with or within a 5 mile zone or something, but it's different. Times change in so many ways. And times have changed a lot, I think, in the golf culture. I remember a time that drinking was not a part of golf in any way. Are you surprised by it, or do you think it was just an inevitability?
So I actually think alcohol has been in golf since the beginning of time. Because think about it, right? What's the tradition that says there's 18 holes because there's 18 shots in a bottle of scotch? Or if you get a hole in one, you got to buy a drink for everybody in the clubhouse,
Hmm.
or every club has a signature drink, right? It's like
And the
it's
19th
pretty
hole?
pervasive. Yeah, in the
Yeah.
19th hole. So, and I got to tell you, I shot my second best score. I drank like probably 6 or 7 Coors Lights. I'll tell you. I mean, I'll be more or less. And I shot a 74, and that was very good for me. And I was like, I couldn't miss because I think what alcohol does, it relaxes the muscles and kind of relaxes the mind. Like when I used to play in the father daughter tournament with my daughters every year, and oh my god, you don't know how stressful it is to play with your two daughters who are competing against each other, and you're also playing with both of them. It's it's rough, okay, and sometimes you just need something to take the edge off. But
I,
that's what.
I
But it's also the camaraderie too, and you
yeah.
know, you've known some people who like to. I mean, you don't. I know people have a Crown Royal at 9 in the morning or 7 in the morning, and but it maybe helps the game, maybe it doesn't. Who knows?
It doesn't help me because for whatever reason, like if I have one drink, it basically doesn't do anything for me to where I feel like I'm uncomfortable or not myself. But on the golf course, I feel it in my hands. And if it's in my hands and it's in my head, I just wait till later.
Oh yeah,
So, you
yeah, that
know,
could be tough.
for some, it's I know some people they call it swing lube. We've got birdie juice going on. We've got all these different things, and also the playing of music on the golf course.
Yeah.
Look, there's the horse is out of the barn. There's no getting it back in, and as long as you're having a good time, I say, why the hell not?
The
Um,
music's a little harder for me. Because
I don't
I
need
know
it, but it
you're
doesn't
in a
bother me.
cart, right? And you hear the music. Like, sometimes the cart has speakers, but you don't know how loud it is if other people can hear it. And like I played in a member guest like a few months ago, and the guy was playing like 50s doo-wop, and he was cranking it, my partner, and it was awesome, right? But then his son was like playing some pretty hardcore hip hop, and it was like it was kind of like dueling banjos there. It was
Yeah, yeah. I'm a yacht rock guy myself. Like
kinda
if we're playing music on the golf course, don't need it, but doesn't bother me as long as it gets people on the golf course. That's good enough for me. Hey, our guest today is Andrew McCabe. He is the founder of Party Drinks and also the founder of Astroluna Brands. Let me ask you, Andrew, what is your favorite party drink? Or is that like naming your favorite child?
I think right now my favorite is still the transfusion. It is just it just has a lot of meaning to me, and I really love it. And my second is probably the Mulligan, which is vodka lemonade. But in a couple of weeks, we're coming out with a Bloody Mary, which is going to be guaranteed to be my favorite because it's going to be awesome. I can't wait. We're just putting the final touches on it right now, and you guys in Florida should be seeing it in a couple of weeks.
All
And then
right.
it's gonna be a firestorm.
Oh, it sure is. By the way, if you don't have party at the golf course where you play, talk to your head pro or the food and beverage manager, wherever you are. Say, we need this stuff. It is fantastic. But let me just share with you a couple places where you can get it for sure. It's available at retail. It's available at golf courses. You can get it at Lucky Mobile, State Road 64 in Bradenton, near I-75. The 7-Eleven store, State Road 64 near Lorraine Road in Bradenton. Rosedale Country Club, Misty Creek Country Club, Esplanade Azario, the Preserve Golf Club, the Links at Greenfield Plantation, which is right across the street from Lucky Mobile on State Road 64, and Siesta Key, which is an incredible if you're looking for a good time, if you want to party with Party, Siesta Key is the place to go. Crescent Beach Market and Spearfish Grill, right as you come over the bridge, right there. So, Andrew, why don't you explain for people why we decided to team up with the West Florida Golf Tour and the title of the podcast, Chasing It with the West Florida Golf Tour. Party time, chasing it with the West Florida Golf Tour. Why do you think that was a good fit for us?
Well, the West Florida Golf Tour is awesome, right? The, there's so many characters, there's so many great guys, and these guys are literally chasing the dream, trying to get on the PGA, and they're anywhere from a 16-year-old kid out of IMG to a 40-something-year-old who still thinks they got it, and they're trying. But they also have other jobs, and they've got stories to tell. And I think that's what we're talking about. Is we want to help them tell their stories to you, because maybe it'll inspire you as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just like and I love the camaraderie, and it's just it really is touching sometimes, these stories, that because it's hard. I mean, golf is probably one of the hardest sports in the world. Maybe not
Yeah.
everyone understands that, but the pressure of doing well week in and week out is excruciating sometimes,
Yeah.
and they do it.
And they do it, and it's not always easy. It's kind of like founding a company and trying to grow a business. You have to keep reinventing yourself, and that's something that we did at Party, pivoting a
Mhm.
bit. Golf is still our primary audience, but we've also expanded to others, younger kids, the college life, the boating community, marinas. Why did you think that was necessary?
Well, I mean, you just take a trip up to Gainesville and go to University of Florida, go to the swamp, and you see people know how to have fun, and they enjoy having a good time. And then a party and UF and the Gators, they all go together. So we're kind of, there's a club, JJ's, which is one of our new customers, and
Yeah.
they're really supporting us. It's great. And then we have a few fraternities that we're doing tailgates, and it's just because we want to get everybody in the party atmosphere and the party feeling. So I mean, and plus, that's how we're going to grow, because we need everybody wanting to have a party.
Yeah, it's a little different than when you and I went to college, when it was all about beer. I mean, nobody was
Oh yeah.
drinking liquor, and if we were, it was crappy stuff. But one of the things about Party that a lot of people notice is how smooth it is, and they sometimes wonder, is there really alcohol in it? Can you walk me through the distilling process and why that makes a difference in the final taste?
Yeah, and the short version of it is that we use great ingredients, great methodology, and we just make we make it ourselves. We're not getting the bottom of the barrel. So we use quality product. Like the vodka is distilled 6 times. The rum is distilled twice, and it's also aged and filtered in a proprietary system. And there's nobody else in the world doing that. But quality just makes the world a difference, And it doesn't have to cost more to do quality. But so a lot of people just want to skimp, but we don't.
Help me understand something, because sometimes people, they'll taste something and it tastes boozy and they think therefore it's strong. Not always the case. Sometimes that you're tasting the impurities, whereas with the vodkas and rums that are in party drinks have removed almost all the impurities. Am I going down the right road?
Yeah, so what we do is it's called a batch process, where we are able to take out the impurities. Most of the impurities are in the beginning and the end of the process. So we're able to extract those and only have the pure ethanol in the middle. And then we use a very good filtration system. So it comes out super smooth. That the vodka, I mean, you can't even, the definition of vodka is tasteless and colorless, and has to be distilled to 192 proof. That's the definition. But if most people can't do that, because if you have all that junk like methanol, aldehydes and all this junk that just give you a headache and make you feel bad, you don't want that. So that's why we kind of have just the purest ethanol, and you'll feel better, and you're not going to get bad hangovers like with a lot of these other things.
Like
especially those seltzers, like the seltzers.
Or like when we were in college and we had the mystery punch at fraternity parties, and we woke up feeling like death. Not going to happen. Hey, by the way,
wishing for death.
It might have ended the suffering faster. For a list of the places around Florida that serve party, log on to our website, drinkparty.com. It has all the different dropped pins and everything. And once again, do us a favor, like and subscribe to the podcast, because that's ultimately how we get paid. Some of the places, golf courses around you, if they have it, support the product, please. If they don't have it, tell the head pro or the food and beverage manager. We want party because we want to drink some good stuff. And once again, a big thanks to the real estate pros, the real estate golf pros, the team of Vince Vizzacaro and Gene Walsh from Fine Properties in the greater Sarasota area. For more information, if you're looking to buy a house on a golf course, or if you happen to have a house on a golf course that you want to sell, these are the pros you want to get in touch with. Check out suncoastdreams.com or call 941-220-4000. All right, let's get back to your golf game. What is the state of your golf game right now? Is it any good?
Well, it's funny. I was just in Florida last week, and I actually played a couple rounds, and I'm an 11 right now, and I was down to a 7 a couple of years ago. I just don't practice enough, and I had the worst yips in my short game, and I'm finally fixing those. So I'm heading the right direction. Like, I'm weird. I swing righty, but I putt lefty. So, and I throw lefty. So at one point I was considering chipping lefty. So I got a lot of demons in my head. So I'm starting to exercise all those and starting to feel better about my game. I just need to learn how to relax and swing and just swing the club better. It's all it is.
What do you need? Like a little psychology lesson from me or something?
I just need
what the hell's wrong with you?
I probably need to practice. No, I hit the ball straight. I just I don't know. I just don't play enough. I gotta play more. Okay.
You're in a funky play. Listen, my golf game's in the toilet.
I just gotta
right
play.
Now. I'm just busting your golf ball. So just you're not the best golfer in the family, are you?
No. So that's a funny story, because I have 3 women in my family. Probably the best golfer is my daughter Winning. She played golf at Brown University, and she's pretty much a scratch golfer now. She's in the finance business. She's a bond trader. But my daughter Emmy, who's 107 pounds, she has a pretty good short game. I mean, she's probably a 6 or 7 right now. But for a girl who's 107, she pounds it like 275. I'm lucky to hit it 230 right now. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's just what's happening to me. But then my wife, GH, she she can get up and down from anywhere on the golf course. And
Mm-hmm.
that's like so the great thing is we can have great matches, the four of us, and we can also go on great golf trips together and have a built-in foursome. So it's all good. I mean, I can hold my own with all of them. I just have to do a lot of trash talking, and which they don't like that always. But what are you going to do?
Tell tell me a good golf story. One where people would be like, "No way." I mean, we all have one. It could be meeting
All right.
somebody or
When you asked me this, I was like, should I tell this story or not? But I'm going to tell you anyway. So one day, we were just we're going to play a casual round at Wellesley Country Club. You know the place.
hmm
And my daughter, I was telling her like my shoulder was hurting and all that. She says, "Oh, I got some like CBD for you, like CBD gummies, and it'll make your shoulder feel better." So all right. She said, "I'll give you a couple." Okay. And I'm like, I'm get
Stop,
out there. I'm
stop,
on the driving
just stop,
range.
stop for a sec. Are you wondering
Okay.
how your daughter has these things for one?
Well, it is legal in Massachusetts, but it was only like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But but we're like, all right, we get to the course. I'm on the range, and I'm like, I'm hitting up, and I'm feeling like pretty loose. So, and then so it's allegedly it's only CBD. Okay, so first 6 holes, I'm even par, and I'm like, well, I'm feeling pretty good. But then I start the next like 3 or 4 holes. I'm looking down like this, and I can't even see the putts. Like I don't know what's happening. I make every 6 to 8 foot putt, every single one. I couldn't miss. I was like, after like 9 holes, I was still even par. I'm like, what's going on here? And I'm like I can't even see the ball. But I'm like, it's crazy. So I end up, no lie, end up shooting a 73. Okay, every ball in the hole, and I'm like, I said, "What the hell did you give me?" She starts giggling, ha ha ha, right? So I couldn't get mad, right? But but it was like, it was unbelievable. Like the wedges were like darts, and the putts were like everything was working.
Do you think
I'm
it was
not
just
I'm not I'm not advocating this, but I'm saying this is what happened. It was like something else.
do you
I was
think
like
it
from another planet.
well, do you think that was it? You just stopped all the micromanaging and overthinking, the paralysis by analysis nonsense that
Oh,
happens to a lot of
without a
us?
doubt,
hmm
without a doubt. But I will admit I've done it other times on the golf course, and I just couldn't even hit the ball. So this was just one of those magical days that I couldn't. I mean, I could have shot even par had I just not like probably got a couple beers too on top
We
of it.
we need more of those magical days. You and I together for one. We got to get you
Oh
down
yeah,
here on a more full-time basis instead of this parachuting in and out of Florida.
yeah.
Look, everybody's coming here. You brought me on board with the company to try and sell your product, and we've taken off, and we're taking over. Um, so hey, make it a point to get out of the cold and come down and make it a permanent thing. Everybody else is doing it. You're one of the good guys. Why don't
Oh
you just
yeah,
join us and get it over with?
absolutely. I'm actually setting all my fishing gear up right now. I've been setting. I'm I was down last week and I was scouting out my fishing spots, and because South Florida's back. I got to tell you, the hurricane kind of kicked a lot of people's butts, but it's coming back,
Okay.
and the golf courses are coming back, which is great.
Okay. So here's the deal. Get on down here. We'll go fishing and golfing, but don't tell anybody our secret spots. Deal?
There we go.
Okay. Andrew McCabe, the founder of Party Drinks and also the master distiller at Asher Luna Brands. For more information about where you can find Party, check out our website. Log on at drinkparty.com. That's the transfusion. That's the one that really got it all started. And let the golf courses around you know if they don't have Party that they ought to get it because they'll be glad they did. And for all your real estate needs, especially if it involves golf courses, selling a home on a golf course or trying to buy one, Remember, Vince Vizicaro and Gene Walsh, they are your professionals. Check them out online at suncoastdreams.com or call 941-220-4000. For Andrew McCabe, I'm Kevin Walsh. We'll see you again next time.
You've been listening to It's Party Time, My Golf Story, brought to you by Party Drinks. Classically designed golf drinks for golfers by golfers, and the golf real estate pros Gene Walsh and Vince Vizicaro. For your Southwest Florida real estate needs, check them out at suncoastdreams.com or call 941-220-4000.
This is Vince Vizicaro and Gene Walsh with the SuncoastDreams.com real estate team at Fine Properties. We've helped hundreds of families find their dream homes in golf and resort communities in Lakewood Ranch, Bradenton, Sarasota, Parrish, Venice, and the surrounding areas.
Let us be your guides to finding your dream home here as well. Learn more at suncoastdreams.com or call us at 941-220-4000.